right, so we're packed up. 3 bikes, lakes, mountains, volcanoes. What is up, my midlife shredders? Welcome to another episode of MTB Over 40. I am so stoked that you're tuning in for this episode because this video has been a long time in the making. I need you to watch the whole video because I got an important question at the end. It's not a gimmick, really. I need you to watch the entire video because it pertains to the question I'm going to ask you at the end. So why Guatemala? I mean, it's not a country you hear of when you think about MTB destinations, right? If you look at like a Trail Forks or anything like that that shows trail maps, I mean, you don't see hardly anything in it. And that's because, well, there's not really any trails designed specifically for mountain biking, but I will say there is some sick riding there. Now, as I make this video, literally yesterday, Killian Braun released his newest video with Commensal called Fuego, which happens to be the volcano in Guatemala, right near where we do all this riding. In fact, the last scene of that video is at Lake Atitlan on a pier that I've actually been on taking photos of. The other reason I picked Guatemala was because, well, I've spent many years traveling to and from that country. I've done 2 featured documentaries there. I've also done some pro bono work and work for nonprofits, creating content for them in that country over the years. So I'm well connected with that country. I have lots of friends down there. And so it was a natural destination for, I wanted to try some riding internationally. And when I got into mountain biking, it was one of the first places I looked up. Is there actually mountain biking in Guatemala? And sure enough, there is. I didn't want to tackle this trip alone, so I decided to invite several of my friends. Jason, who you've seen in several of my videos, he came along and did some drone stuff for me. Carson from 9.5 Media, he also came along and did some shooting, some off-bike footage as well. And my friend Norm Nielsen, who's the Fezzari team manager, he set up some crazy stuff for us. Got Club Ride to donate some clothing for the whole team and Ride Concepts to give us some shoes. I mean, he did an amazing job at helping us get outfitted for this trip. So it made this trip that much more amazing. Our flight was late the first day. We arrived very late and got into Antigua, spent the night, and we spent about a half a day in Antigua touring some of the Spanish colonial ruins in the city, and then had some lunch, and then we traveled the 3-hour trek to Pacaya, which is right at Lake Atitlan. Now, Lake Atitlan is the deepest lake in Central America. It's actually surrounded by 3 volcanoes. It's actually the caldera of a super volcano. And so the geology of that place is just amazing already. We set up our bikes, unpacked everything, built the bikes up, and even that evening we decided to ride around town just to make sure everything was good, everything was riding well, everything was working, because the next day was going to be the kickoff of some sick riding. Our idea was that we would pick places around the lake and just ride down into them, because if you look at a map, you can tell that everything's elevated around the lake. You know, they're not, like I said, there's no trails made for mountain biking, so they just use the old mine footpaths that were made hundreds, even 1,000 years ago, from when the Mayans up in the highlands would go down to Lake Atitlan, fish, and cultivate the land area and take it back up to the villages and the highland areas. So these trails are what we ride down. There's no way to go into great detail about everything that we did those 3 days of riding. I mean, we did a lot, so this video would be, hours long. So I want to just give you some of the highlights. I'll throw in some titles to kind of let you know where we were at that point. I want you to sit back, relax, enjoy some of the highlights from these 3 days of riding.
of like a watermelon inside, but it's white. Is it white?
Oh, it's the white stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they tend to cut it up and then they like boil it in sugar and make candy out of it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Close and personal with Norm Nielsen. Go Eric! Go Kari! Woo! You okay? Yeah. That was awesome. What do you think of the ride so far?
Dude, this is epic.
Yeah.
Unlike anything else.
It's a pretty crazy seeing the volcano.
Seriously, like 2 volcanoes, 3, 4, 5 volcanoes. Ridiculous, man.
Hype for the rest of it.
What's that?
Hype for the rest of the ride.
Hype for the rest of the ride.
can tell me no.
It's just so cheap.
Huh?
You're freaking six
Qs.
For 4 of them.
In case you hear my shot.
Sorry.
Alex, you want one?
Thanks, sir.
Bobby, sorry.
Sorry for what?
It's nice.
Sorry for what?
Yeah. Call you sir.
This is Guatemala.
Bobby.
You're lost here.
Sir is my dad. I'm not sir.
Hey, Bobby.
Okay, sir.
Holy crap. Oh! Ugh. About ripped my head off. About ripped my head off back there.
Grab my helmet.
I know.
And went like this.
They produce a white honey. They produce a... The Miami, they work with hive and little dogs. No. This is the honey from the royal bee, the last bee, the last one.
$3 por foto. A 25 minutos.
Get it with a stick for cats, so to sort of pull the thread out of it, yeah. Yeah.
It's full.
So they get the buff. On a full moon, it's that lighter color.
Cuando la mujer empieza a trabajar acá, prenso de nuevamente,
So then she'll tighten it
meto
up
el
again.
lanzadero.
We're about to find out.
Yesterday's ride was pretty crazy. It involved all these different zones. You know, you start out in this lush jungle, and then we would descend down these crazy trails that, like a billy goat would go down, and then we'd pop out and we'd be in this little town, head down to the coast, caught some cultural things, you know, really soaking in what Guatemala has to offer outside of mountain biking, and all while doing it with good friends. So it ended up being a killer day yesterday.
You're good. Woo! That's rough.
Hey, Andrew, jump in here with us, man. We all got a good still.
Just zoom past him, they won't bother you. Oh my gosh. Duck, duck.
I was thinking this is the part we could use the drone on, but
I'm just coming right in. I couldn't, I was like, I can't make that turn.
Hold on, hold on. Damn, that is rocky.
Go, Bobby! Carnage.
Okay, bud, Dick.
You! Ya, bien. Sí, llegas.
permiso. Con permiso.
So we had one more full day in country there in Guatemala, and we decided we'd just take it easy that day, and we spent the morning at Casa de Mundo, which is this hotel resort perched right on the edge of a cliff. Beautiful, amazing place. I've been there several times. I decided to treat the team there, and we went there, had some coffee, some breakfast. Some of the guys and gals went swimming. We did some drone footage, got to just relax in the morning, and then the afternoon we decided we'd head to Pacaya, which is a volcano, active volcano, not too far away, and it was an amazing way to cap off an amazing experience. Knowing what it's like to be on an active volcano and see what lava does and how it, you know, transforms the landscape, all that was cool. It was actually my second time hiking that volcano, so I was so stoked to be up there again. An amazing trip. I mean, you can't ask for a better way to spend a week mountain biking and hiking and experiencing a country that's just so beautiful. Huge thanks to Alex, Eric, Nefta. Those were our guides for the 3 days, did an amazing job. We could not have done this trip without them. Also want to give a huge shout out to my buddies, Jeff, Diego, and Camilo. Those are my friends in country. They helped me with some of the logistics, getting all that taken care of, because there's a lot to do, so huge shout out to them. So my question, probably the thing you guys have been waiting for this whole video, is how would you like to experience this yourself? I've been toying with the idea of leading groups down to Guatemala and having this type of an experience, because there's so much more to see. I mean, there's a lot more. We just barely scratched the surface. There is a lot more to do in country, around Lake Atitlan and other places in that area. So I've been toying with the idea of just inviting people to come with me. Let's experience this together. So the question is, are you in? So I've got a form online, and I'll link it down in the description below. If you're interested in taking a trip, this trip or something similar, something like this, then click that link below. It's on my website, mtbover40.com. Click that link below and fill out that form. Let me know what you think. Is this something you'd be interested in? You know, there's obviously some logistics involved and pricing and costs and stuff like that to make this trip happen. So if you're interested, again, click that link below, fill out that form, let me know. It'll come right to me and I will read every single one. If we've got enough response, then I think we can make this happen. This is part of the journey that I've been thinking about for a while. That's why I've kind of waited a little bit to release this video. And so I'm excited about where this is going to lead, because like I said, this is just going to scratch the surface. I am so thankful you stayed for the whole video and hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got a little taste of what it's like to ride in Guatemala. If you enjoyed this video, if you like this type of content and you want to join with me on this journey, please hit that subscribe button and bell notification if you haven't already. If you would love to support this channel, feel free to hit that super thanks and contribute. All the money that comes through this channel, it just goes right back into this experience. And so this is the only way I get funding for that. I would love it if you would contribute that way, or just like and share. I mean, just share the videos. That would be so awesome as well. I will leave you with that and say, as always, live, learn, and send it. It is never too late to start. We'll see you next time.